In a small village nestled deep within the African savannah, a boy named Kwame was born into a life of humble beginnings. His family lived in a simple mud hut, the roof thatched with dried palm leaves. The floors were bare earth, and the walls cracked from the relentless sun. Kwame's father, Kofi, was a farmer, toiling day and night on their small plot of land, growing maize and yams. His mother, Alma, sold vegetables at the village market, hoping to scrape together enough to feed their 3 children. Kwame was the youngest, and though they had little, his spirit was always bright. From a tender age, Kwame was different. While other children played, he would sit by the old baobab tree, staring into the distance, his mind filled with thoughts far beyond his years. His eyes, deep and thoughtful, seemed to see things others could not. He often told his mother, "One day, Mama, we will live in a big house, and you will not have to work so hard." Alma would smile at her son's words, patting his head gently. "Ah, Kwame, you have the heart of a lion. But remember, it is not riches that make a man great, but his deeds." Kwame nodded, but deep inside, he held on to his dreams. He knew there was more to life than the struggle his family faced daily. As he grew, so did his wisdom and understanding. He was always willing to help anyone in the village, whether it was fetching water, gathering firewood, or tending to the elders. People began to take notice of his kindness and wisdom, despite his young age. One day, a great misfortune befell the village. The king, who ruled over their land, fell gravely ill. The kingdom's healers tried all they could, but nothing seemed to work. The villagers were in despair, for they loved their king, who had always been just and fair. The village elders consulted the oracle, seeking guidance. The oracle, an old woman with sight beyond the physical, closed her eyes and spoke, "The king's life can only be saved by a heart pure and untainted by greed or malice. The one who will save the king must come from the most humble of homes, but possess the spirit of a leader." The elders were puzzled. Who in the village could fit such a description? They pondered for days until one of them remembered Kwame, the boy with a heart as big as the savannah itself. They decided to seek him out. When the elders arrived at Kwame's home, his parents were shocked. What could these important men want with their son? But the elders explained the oracle's words, and without hesitation, Kwame agreed to go with them. They brought him before the ailing king. The young boy, without fear, approached the bed where the king lay. Kwame knelt and took the king's hand. He closed his eyes and whispered a prayer his mother had taught him, asking for the king's health to be restored. As he finished, a strange thing happened. The room, which had been filled with a sense of dread, began to feel lighter. The king opened his eyes, and color slowly returned to his face. He looked at Kwame and smiled weakly. "You, young boy, have saved my life." Word of Kwame's act spread throughout the kingdom. The king, grateful and impressed by the boy's courage and purity, declared that Kwame would be his heir. "This boy," the king said, "though born of humble origins, has the heart of a true leader. He will be the one to lead when I am gone." Kwame's parents could hardly believe it. Their son, born in a mud hut, was now to be a king. As Kwame grew older, the king taught him everything he knew about ruling a kingdom. And when the time came, Kwame took the throne, ruling with the same kindness and wisdom that had always been his nature. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished. He never forgot where he came from, and he made sure that every child, no matter how poor, had the opportunity to rise, just as he had. The people loved him, for he was not just a king, but one of them, a leader who understood their struggles and shared in their joys. And so, Kwame, the boy who once dreamed under the baobab tree, became a king, not by birthright, but by the strength of his spirit and the purity of his heart. His story was told across the land, a reminder that greatness can come from even the most humble beginnings.